Let's go.
Hi guys, welcome to lesson 2 of Lenormand level 1. We looked at all the meanings yesterday, and we also looked at all the meanings yesterday, and we also looked at some of the combinations that naturally appear in the Lenormand deck, like Tower and Clouds, for example. The Clouds performs most of our combinations that we get in the original instructions. But today we're going to look at 3 ways in which you can read your Lenormand deck. The 3 ways that you will be learning today will flow through the week into the 3 cards, into descriptions, into the 5 cards, because these are techniques that we will use all of them of when we are reading a grand tableau. The first is the narrative flow. A narrative flow means that card 1 happens, then card 2 happens, then card 3 happens. The second thing we're looking at today is the focus read, where we take one card as the main answer, and then the other cards that follow describe that further, which will lead us into descriptions of people tomorrow. And the third method is what we call the mix method, where we put all those meanings into a pot, create a combination of the 3 or a mood of the 3, 2 today, but of the cards in order to form the answer to our question. So, like I said, the narrative will take card 1 will happen, card 2 will happen, and then card 3 will happen. Quite like if you are reading for a day, you would have morning, noon, and night. Or reading for a meeting, you would have the beginning of the meeting, the middle of the meeting, and the end of the meeting, all in a narrative line. A focus read is where you take one card as your answer, and then the other cards add in. And when we are doing a mix, we add them together to find that outcome answer that we are looking for. What you will notice when we're reading with just 2 cards, which we are today, the nuances between the answers are very minor. The more cards you have, the more the interpretation changes as we change our way of reading. So if you were doing a read for the rest of your day, for example, taking a narrative focus, taking 2 cards, this card will happen, and then that card will happen. So in my day today, we have birds, which is our bringer of effort and burden, our stress card, adding extra in. So it will be stressful to begin with and turn into quite a nasty situation with the scythe card in, a dangerous situation. If we're looking then at the second read, the focus of the answer becomes the first card, and then we describe it using the second. So the first card becomes a burden, so the day will be hard work, and then dangerously hard work. So we're adding that in as a descriptive word to describe the first. So dangerously hard or suddenly hard work with the focus, and the other card being the descriptor. when we mix the two together, we are looking at like our ingredients for the day. So imagine you're making a soup. What cards do you need in that soup to make it a perfect day? So we're adding the ingredient of stress, and we're adding the ingredient of danger into one, which again becomes stress to the point of breaking point. So breaking point stress, or even similar as we did in the focus, dangerously stressful, with the two mixed in to that one. As I said, when it's two cards, the nuances aren't that great, but if we get used to these techniques, when it comes to a GT, it becomes so much easier, and those interpretations flow a lot more than if you're just using one technique. So I'll take the people card out. We'll try another two. So lilies, satisfaction, followed by trouble or disruption. So the day starts out quite a happy day, but moves into disruption with the clouds. If we're focused, the majority of the day is going to be satisfactory. So it's going to be a happy type of day with the lily. It is then colored and described by clouds. So it's satisfaction, that is clouds, troubling. Then if we add the two together in the mixed scenario, we have an uncertainty, a trouble regarding satisfaction. We can also use virtue for the lily. So if we add them both in together, it is a troublesome virtue. So perhaps someone being too kind. Let's have a look at two more. Cross narrative read, crossroads happens, and then bear. So the rest of the day involves making decisions that has an upturn, because we see that decision card moving into the bear, which means great fortune. So we have decisions that actually make the end of the day a super happy influx of, because the bear speaks about great fortune coming in, influx of great things happening. If we look at the focus, it's all about decisions. So the day itself is all about decisions. The bear then describes those decisions. So they're great decisions with those two cards together. If we are mixing them entirely, making our soup, again, great decisions, because they're the two core keywords added together. But also they have equal answer. So where is the narrative? It's 1, 2, then 3. The focus is the main one, was the decisions card. The mix, they have equal opportunities for both cards, so they're both as prevalent as the other in the day. So the day again is about making decisions that bring some greatness in. Snake and buck. Betrayal at the beginning of the day leads to secrets coming to light. As a focus read, the day is about betrayal. It's about people doing you wrong, which is colored or described more by book. So you can say there's some information coming out that you're going to find somebody has betrayed you in some way. Surprising betrayal, all in the one together as your mix at the end. Try a couple more, just see what we get. So mice happens, then clover happens. There's loss, but then maybe lost and found, with the mice followed by clover. So there is a loss, but it works out and you probably retrieve it with that clover card. There is a loss. When we go to the focus, this becomes much bigger. So the focus card becomes that loss, and loss is the one that will influence the whole day. Lucky losses, small losses, little losses, for example, as your description, using the second card to describe the first. Then when we add them in together, we have fortunate losses with those two together. Narrative again. Take the woman out. Key. Key is certain success. So there's certain success beginning the day and happiness ending the day. The day working out as desired with bouquet. So you could say to your client, just using two cards, you'll definitely get that done in the morning and it will all go as desired with the bouquet. We're using and cards or and words. We're using words that add a narrative, creating a straightforward sentence from one into two. Then on the focus read, the key becomes the most important thing when we're talking about certain success. It is colored by or described by bouquet as happy success. Could even be success of an offer coming in, for example. And then the two together, successful and happy. Successful and as desired, all in the one together. Narrative again. The ring card, talking of commitment. So doing what you need to do, being committed in the morning. Take the woman out. Leading, so from these commitments, leading into discord or arguments. So you start the day with your committed card and end the day in discord. The ring becomes the focus when we're doing our focus way of reading. So the ring becomes that commitment. The whole day is about commitment. Discordious commitment. Argumentative relationship. So the negative has had a bearing on that positive card. Whereas in the first, we moved from one into the other quite organically. In the second focus read, we are coloring them and adding them together. And again, if we think of our third way, our just mixing of those essences, we have a discordious relationship, an argumentative relationship, a relationship that is full with crossness with our whip. Letter starting the day. Oh, that's a good one, isn't it? Letter starting the day. So communication begins the day and information then comes in. Could be writing an email to somebody and getting the reply in a narrative form. The letter being the focus, so the focus is all about communication. It's incoming communication with the two together because that is describing the letter. So it is no longer an outgoing with a reply or a back and forth. It turns into incoming information. And similarly, that's the same entity as the mix. We have those two communication cards being added into one another. It is a day of back and forth and communication as a whole. House, our success card, and child, our good people card. Starting the day very solid and successful and everything going well with the house card. Towards the end of the day, there are good people around you. So it could be a day at home and then you see friends, for example, with the child card, or even the children, of course, being at home and then the children come home. Then the house card becomes the subject of the focus read. So we're looking at either house or the home, or we're looking at success in undertakings. And the good people vibe card, adding into that, it is more of a people success, more than a kid's success, for example. And then when you add them both in together, it could even be new with the child card, but adding them both together, children at home, it can be friends doing well, for example, mixing those two essences of the success and the good people card. I'll do one more. The garden card, our sociable card, starts the day in our narrative, followed by a change. So moving away from that sociability. So being in a sociable situation and moving away from it. When we move down into our focus read, and sociableness becomes the, our circle of friends becomes the focus, there is a change within that circle of friends. So you saw the narrative where the stalk was moving away in a narrative, whereas here it's actually placed on the garden and describes the garden. So there are change within the social circumstances. Social change, sociable change, conference change, change of friends, even with the garden card. So you have those three different ways that you can practice today. As I said yesterday, if you practice in the World Lenormand Association group on Facebook, I can then be tagged in, or even on Instagram, tag me in at the Card Geek and at World Divination, and let's get these combination going. This is how you learn your vocabulary, but you're also learning those key techniques that will help you when you go on to read the Grand Tableau, because yes, you have to read narratively. When it comes to the line of sight and the happenings in someone's life, a narrative read is essential to hit predictions. The focus read is essential when we are trying to explain a particular situation to our querent. And the mix read is essential too, because it adds that nuance of situations are never linear. There's always a mix when any situation comes into your life. There are different tangents it can take. The essence of the cards mixed together adds a mood, a theme to any situation that you are looking at. So I will see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the same time. And until then, practice your two cards, because we are going on to describe ourselves tomorrow and to describe other people in the deck.